Okay, folks, hopefully you guys can hear me. We're at the WSU extension here. It's on a Wednesday, or maybe it's Thursday or Friday. I don't think it really matters. But we are going through the hives from Mount Spokane, kind of going through, looking to see what we have for live bees, what their food stores are, what the condition they are in, and we'll kind of show you how we do some of those inspections. This will be good for those of you that have never actually done this before, you new folks, and for the second year folks, this is kind of what you could look to find, expect coming out of winter, and hopefully you'll get a lot of good information out of this. We also do some mite checking, and you'll see how we do that, and we'll do those on all the hives and get an accurate count of what kind of mite loads we're looking at coming out of winter and what we need to do in the meantime. So honey stores, number of frames of bees, brood, eggs, queen present, mite check. We'll be going through a lot of things, kind of walk you through it. You'll see Jerry instruct, and some of his grandkids are helping him out along with some of the instructors. So hope you enjoy and hope you find this useful, and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks and stay safe.
Spring inspection with a box hive that has bees in both boxes. We've set the top cover off over here so that it's we can set the second box on. We have an extra box to put the frames in today just because the wind's blowing and we don't have a choice. So go ahead, guys, and set that box off. How heavy does it feel?
Not too bad.
So it's not too bad for weight, so we're in pretty good shape. Now, Ian, you go ahead and smoke those bees off that top bar. Now, guys, we're going to work the bottom box first to see if we got brood down there, and then we're he'll set those over in the empty box until we see what we got. Once we've got an idea of what's in there, we might have all the brood downstairs or upstairs, and we'll decide what we're going to do. So go ahead and take that frame out there, Ian. So I could tell by the way I heard it pop that it's pretty empty of any honey or anything, so send it over in the other box. So that's, when we talk in the class about having an extra box or something that you could set your bees in, you can see that it's nice and convenient for us to be able to do that. Now, he's very careful about separating the frames because you can have the queen on it and drop her to the bottom if the frame pops real bad. Now, just because hold that frame up so they can see it, Ian. So you don't see a lot of bees clustered in one spot. It's pretty cool out today, so I would suspect there's no brood on that frame, and there isn't. Tell me if you spot it when you pick it up, Ian. Okay, a little bit more smoke because they're not where we want to put our hands. We don't want to kill bees in the spring or any time, so we put a little smoke on there to get them to duck their heads. And as you can see, our filmers are standing real close to us. It's not a big deal, but it's really hard to pop the frames apart, and because they propolised them together so much. I would suspect we have a tiger queen in this because of the amount of propolization. Again, if you look at how the bees are working on that frame, show them, they're doing cleaning work. So they're preparing these frames for doing whatever they're going to do when the queen comes down. So we're pretty sure now we have the queen upstairs, unless she popped down on one of these frames out here. As you notice, the circle, see how the circle is? So they're doing a small cluster in there. The key is you don't want to mess things up by dropping things down if you can help it. These have got to be transferred to new boxes because these old boxes are going to be used for our new packages. Go ahead and finish that up. So here's a new box with a solid bottom board, not a screen bottom board on it. So Donnie, open this up, and you guys are going to watch as we go through this. Donnie's going to hand, this one's got the honey in it. We had no honey in the bottom. Look at all those bees. So Donnie's going to hand frames to Ian, and Ian's going to put them in there, and we're going to look for our things. Now, Ian set the inner cover up close to the front of the hive, so the bees will crawl in there. And you can see with our box, we have lots of room on the side here because we pushed all of our frames together in the fall, and so it's real easy to get the first frame out. Remember, pull it straight up like Donnie did. Beautiful. Now, the scary thing is there's very little honey on that frame, and it's an outside frame. So set it over there in that box. Just hand it to Ian, Donnie, it'll make it easier for you. We got to be looking for honey here, or we got a hive that's pretty hungry. Look at that, bees wall to wall. Okay, show them so they can see it, Donnie. Any brood in there? Now we're going to start looking for brood because there's so many bees on it, but handle it very carefully to see all the bees laying on it, see if we got a queen. Okay, doesn't look like she's here because there's no brood there. So because I've seen 2 frames now without any bees on, or brood on it, I suspect we're going to find the queen or brood in the next 2 frames. What do you see? Remember, brood all over the place on this one. I'll stand out of the way, but now look at the amount of bees hanging on that. Okay? See them hanging there? Now look for the queen, but that's all capped brood, so I would not expect to see the queen there.
What is that at the bottom? Is that
Just junk. Okay, so we got a frame with brood, so we got 1 frame of brood. You got to remember that, but notice there's no honey in the corners of that frame. Cap brood on this side. Cap brood on that side.
Yep.
Any honey in the corners? Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Cap brood there too. No queen? Now we're going to be watching for the queen because we want to test this hive for mites. We tested an earlier hive that we went through and it had 3 mites.
We're leaving the rest in 8. Okay. So they're doing a 10 there, and that's a 10. I did a 10. Matt did a
Okay.
10.
What do we got?
There she is.
Okay.
Right here.
These guys are marked.
See right there, there's our queen. So we've got 2 frames of brood and she's working on a 3rd one. Is any of that capped?
Nope.
Nope. So it's a totally open frame with larvae and eggs.
Can we get a still?
Okay, hold it real still for them. They're going to switch and get some still pictures, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Can you see her good?
Work it.
Oh, yeah. She's
Work
been
it.
photographed.
Okay.
Sign a release.
Go ahead and gently hand it to Ian so we can put her in. Okay, right now we're going to set that frame and push it over against the wall, and we're going to call Jim Lewis over here, and we're going to do a sample off that last frame. So Ian, pull that frame out. Jim, we're ready to test. Okay, we're going to start again. So we know where the queen is. She's on that frame. We're not going to look for her again because it's kind of cold out here. Donovan's going to pull the next frame. And you can see by just looking at it, there one side is pretty covered. Do you see eggs in there? Remember, you can reach in with your hand and gently roll your hand over the back of the bees. Don't
see eggs.
So this frame, Donnie sees eggs in there. You won't find them on that side because of how open it is, so don't bother looking. Go ahead and hand it to Ian and we'll get the rest of them in there. Now again, we haven't seen any honey stores. There's not much nectar in this hive. For the amount of bees it has, it could be on the verge of starving in another week or so. Fortunately, we're getting a change in weather, but
There's a little bit of honey on this one.
so we got honey right here is what they're living on. Show it to them. See right here? That isn't much honey for this hive to go, but we got probably 3/4 of a frame of honey in there, okay? So you can see it. It's capped there, it's capped there, and all of this is on cap. So they're eating it up pretty fast. This is a hive we'll either need to put honey in from the honey bank or we're gonna feed it. And we're gonna put that frame of honey downstairs where all the brood is, so if it turns cold, they can get to it. Okay, the cluster will be very big in the bottom where the brood is. So now we're gonna take this box right here, clean the rabbits, you know. Boys are used to doing this. We've done about 50 of them already this year. So the reason we use the metal rabbits is it makes it easy to clean, but the other thing, it's easy for you to slide your frames. Okay, let's go ahead and put it back in there. Set that on top very gently. Got some bees on the bottom, boys, so watch it. So Ian will turn it a little bit so they can get away. There we go. Remember, when we closed that last one up, we centered the bees in the middle of the box, and we got room on each side. Now we're going to transfer the bees from that box over here, but first we're going to shake the bees out of here in there, okay? Just shake them in there so we don't have a whole bunch of them sitting on that cover. See, you got them on the ground. That's not good. Okay? Okay. So another way to do that is like this. Tricks to the trade. Hate to say that. Go ahead and put them in, Ian. So Ian's going to transfer them to that box the same way he had them in the bottom. Now we've moved all the bees and honey and brood to the bottom box, and now we're going to put empty frames in there. Again, be very gentle about doing it. And if you're doing it in not a perfect weather condition, because we had our frames pushed tight together, we're not having to clean these in bars. Normally you would have to if you got a problem with them. Okay, Ian, you got stuff on this one right here and this one, so go ahead and clean it. Just push down. Yep, just do that. It'll drop down in there and the bees will pull it out and get rid of it. Okay. Pull one of those empties on the far side, Ian. We got a frame of honey here. It's not a very pretty frame. It should be replaced as soon as we get a chance, but it's got honey on it and we want to make sure our hive is safe, so we'll add it in there. Okay? Got honey on both sides. Sometimes you have to do things you don't like to do. Now we're going to get rid of these. Okay, just a sec. Got bees in. Take that frame out and shake the bees out. Little art board here. Keep everything from falling out. Good. Okay. So we're using a different inner cover here. It has a hole for a jar feeder or putting a something on it, like a 1 gallon bucket with holes in it. Okay, put your lid on. You want to use a new one, I'm sorry.